This is a matchup which this blue Protoss player has been pretty dominant in as of late. He has just been a little bit too good for the tricks and the micro that the opponent tries to throw out. herO in the top right will be that Protoss player, who, like I say, has been very solid throughout this recent history against ByuN, who will be our red Terran in the bottom left corner of the map. Starting up on Tokamak, and herO has a super early probe, so he's going to get across early to see if there's any shenanigans coming out of ByuN, if he's going to be able to trying to proxy or anything. Getting this across the map so quickly just gives you that info right away, and that's obviously going to be very nice. So let's start up with that right here. As the probe comes through, the SCV steps over. We'll just do a little bit of nibbling for a couple of moments as ByuN is not happy. How dare you attack my SCV, I'm sure he's saying. Play the gentleman's game, let me live. Let me be. Let me do my thing. It is annoying though, right? I mean, this is like such an annoying little probe. herO just gets to see everything, gets to know what's going on, and just gets to kind of work with that for a little while, as we do see the probe and the SCV going to come back to fighting against each other. Just the SCV off the line this entire time is some minor loss. Of course, this is an early hit to herO's economy. One probe this early is impactful, right? Like, it is going to slow your build down that teeny little bit, but it gives you that safety net of just knowing there's just no possible way that he could be doing anything aggressive, because I've had all the information from the very start. I see where the first barracks is. There's just no question marks in herO's mind as to where this game is going right now, and that's the benefit of what he is doing here, of this scouting timing. And like I say, he'll be very happy to have, made this. Obviously, this was his choice. This is what he wanted to do. He'll be very happy to, like I say, just more or less pin his opponent back down to playing a very standard game for the moment. Well, pylon block going to stop the add-on from coming up, and that's annoying because if you want to get rid of this pylon and it finishes, you're going to have to keep the Reaper and the Hellion at home, and they don't exactly do amazing damage against the pylon either, right? So, just a little bit of annoyance right now here out of herO. Again, just trying to get under ByuN's skin a little bit, just trying to be a nuisance, just trying to make this not a simplistic game, basically, for our Terran player early on. Yeah. Pylon finishes, so we're actually going to have to kill that. Now, obviously, you are building into the Reaper, so maybe it's not going to delay your add-on, but it does stop the Reaper Hellion getting onto the map early, which can be seen as obviously a positive as well, so to get that out of this. Hallucination just going to be moving over. We do see the Twilight Council coming on as well. Just going to be seeing the Gateway coming about, the Warp Gate coming through. Got settled down here as the Reaper Hellion continues to move over. And actually going to try and dive into this mineral line, which it looked like there's maybe an opportunity, but it's one of those moments, I think, where... Yeah, I think that's one of those moments where you feel like there's maybe an opportunity and just isn't really there. We're actually going to try and dive into the main base now, so looking for some damage. As a couple of the probes have to start pulling away. Hyperfly Rotor's starting, man. The Speed Banshee and mech stuff has been really starting to take the TVP matchup by storm. All the Terrans are just giving up on playing with Stim and Combat Shields, and they're moving in toward this mech play. I can really only emphasize what I said yesterday, which I think it's only a matter of time before this truly gets figured out, and this just is not viable. And that's just based off of the past history of mech in this matchup. Mech has had very fleeting moments in TVP. It's just not a composition that really works with how the matchup plays out. And when you see kind of, ByuN going mech here, a lot of this is going to be about the harassment and the ability to kind of get going with one big push. But I really feel like if that one big push of the Cyclones gets shut down, you end up in so much trouble so quickly, it can absolutely be a problem as well. So, interested to see if we can maybe rectify that possible problem. We'll see what happens. Hyperflight Rose coming through. And we actually are going barracks behind this. So this is not actually going to be the mech that I'm yapping on about. We actually saw... Who did this? Was it ByuN that did this the other day and had extreme success? Someone did this. Was it the Monday Cup, maybe? It's, I think it's actually... So, yeah, what we're doing is going Hyperflight Rotors instead of Cloak. But it's actually... I think it must have been the Monday Cup, because I'm pretty sure I was casting with Harstem. But basically, you go Hyperflight Rotors, and you can actually do a lot with that. That said, the Stargate is going to be a bit of an annoyance here, and I wonder if that may actually have a pretty negative impact on ByuN being able to get anything done right now. Stim and Combat Shield still very much so just building their way into action here. Let's set up for a few moments. Well, Stalker's going to be there. The Banshee's getting pushed around. Couple of Banshees going to get straight onto the pylon for a couple of moments, so they will try and find a little bit of value. But Phoenix here is just annoying because it's just the perfect counter and something you don't usually build in this kind of matchup right now, and it kind of completely takes away from the strength of these Banshees because they are just nowhere near as effective because they just get shut down way sooner than they're meant to. It's just a completely off kind of moment for this game, and as ByuN, you're not going to be happy with where this game just turned. As no one's going to be happy with the lag. That's seems as though that might not be affecting the players, though. That might just be European to Korea internet lag that we've been having a lot of on the server lately. Hero's just going to turn this into an attack with the Banshees failing and the bio upgrades not being ready yet. He's going to find a good amount of success. It's a weird fight, though, because this is not exactly the best Protoss song we've ever seen. It is charge, but the position really takes away from the Zealots in a big way, so we're actually going to see that be a pretty okay hold from ByuN, really. And now that he gets Stim and Combat Shield, this would have never worked for Hero if those upgrades were done. Now they're going to be done. I think that this is going to be kind of wrapped up as well. Next coming through, +2 attack and the Storm coming about as well. Post Academy building through, the couple of Widow Mines coming online. Also, just see the Storm and the +2 attack upgrades coming about right now. The Marines got underneath the Phoenix, so going to get rid of a few of those that have obviously been again a little bit of the bane of ByuN's game plan. I'll be happy to see the end of some of those Phoenix at the very least, that's for sure. Marine pulling back down, the Storm coming across. 2-2. It's not going to be on the way, it's just going to be 2-1, sorry. Again, ahead of myself. 2-2, I say, and yes, the upgrades are not quite that far through at the moment, huh? I'm going to pull the SCVs as ByuN is just going to go across the map and try and put a pretty swift end to this one then, so SCVs are coming and... Well, this is where we ask, does Hero actually have enough to hold on against this? Oh, the first Storm is brutal onto the SCVs. I mean, I was going to say, the army supply is not looking good, but you do have Storm available, and like I say, the first Storm comes in instantly to be a success story. So Storm looking good, and just so many of the SCVs taken out gives you the chance to maybe clean this up. However, the Widow Mines hit well, and the Zealots are softened up quickly. And I think that does open the door to perhaps seeing a little bit of hope still for our Terran player in this game. A couple of bio units trying to get through, but now the army supplies are evening out. It probably is not looking good enough for ByuN. Man, that first Storm hitting all those SCVs. If the SCVs were there to tank a little further, who knows what maybe could have been. Obviously, in this case, not good enough, and that is going to be GG. Hero taking the opening game of this BO3 off of ByuN, with really just the kind of correct answer of things at the end. Top right-hand side, blue Protoss player. It is going to be Hero, while on the bottom right, our red Terran is going to be ByuN. Let's jump onto the Inu cam. Don't think Storm's so strong if Terran can get Caduceus Reactor. Yeah. It's a bit of a later game upgrade, right, is the problem. Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, because Storm's just an instacast, and it just takes a couple ticks for it to be so good and be good enough, it feels extremely punishing, right? Which unfortunately is just the way that it works. I'd be very interested to see what changes we end up getting for in a balance patch if we get one, because I don't know what you do, and I don't know how much needs doing. I think something needs doing, but I don't know myself just how much that needs to be or what that looks like, you know, I suppose is what it comes down to. The thing is, in StarCraft 2, the tiniest tweaks can make the largest of differences as well, and it may not be, a lot of the time it's not about making a big change. Sometimes it's making a small change, but the correct small change. Sometimes the smallest changes can just have that knock-on impact of like, oh, here we go, this is how we solve this problem, and it's brilliant. It's thumbs up, everyone loves it. But like, you've got to be able to get to that point in the first place, right? Which is, like I say, more easily said than done. Reaper coming through, factory coming up. We've seen the Reaper chasing the Zealot down for a couple of moments there as well, so just taking a chance to push back a little. Reaper knock away at the Zealot a little bit. Grenade goes down, Zealot and the Stalker going to get bopped. And Stalker coming through, Warp Gate building up as well, so we get a lot of that on the way right now. Reaper is going to actually get the Zealot kill, which does not always happen. But that's nice because one less unit that's going to be hitting at the front door here, as here obviously is trying to apply at least a little bit of pressure in these early stages. The Marine together, actually very nearly getting that Stalker, but now we lose the Reaper. You don't have the speed to kind of catch up with the Stalker again, so you're not going to be able to see too much else come out of that. It's going to be coming to a close for the moment. Cyclone locking on, Stalker getting pushed back and away. So you get chased out of here just for now. Green just going to be there. Stalker taking a bit more damage. A couple more tanks and the Marines coming about as well. Starport comes up. Not sure how to word it to make sense, but what about lengthening the time frame of the storm damage? Make it take a tick or two longer, spread out the time it takes to drop all of its damage. Yeah, make it more heavily zoning. It's not a bad idea because Protoss do already have like a very powerful zoning tool. It's called the Disruptor, you know? So if you're looking for that instantaneous bang, clear up that area, the Disruptor is your boy. And if you're not looking for the bam, clean up your area in the moment kind of thing, then maybe Storm is kind of the go-to. But that is kind of a big change. And then you've got to ask, how much impact does that have on PvZ? Because PvZ does not really have a Storm problem right now. But man, Lingbane Hydra is going to love any sort of nerf like that to Storm, right? Any sort of nerf that makes like the actual Stormcast itself. Because right now, if you go Storm, it will always kill Banes as they roll through. But if Storm deals damage over a longer period of time, you may know, I don't know how it's going to work out necessarily, but it may be much easier for Banes to get through Storms. And that's also the difficulty of StarCraft 2. You're not just balancing a single matchup, right? You're also trying to not break the balance in another matchup at the same time. So yeah, it's not a bad suggestion, but I think that's the kind of change which you want to try and stay clear of because it has almost too much impact elsewhere, and then you're going to fix one thing and maybe break PvZ, and then we're at the same place of just trying to have to find an answer all over again, you know? Army stepping up, Marines and tanks are going to be there. The Immortals drop out, and that's going to be a very solid defense from herO. This is going to get turned the other way, and not just turned the other way, these Immortals can chase, and if they start getting thrown to those siege tanks on the Cyclone, they are going to just absolutely shred, and that is what has exactly happened so far. A very comfortable starting point to begin with on that, as that is, like I say, going to be not what ByuN wanted to see. Now he's going to have to pull all the way back. The Immortals being in the Prism is super scary because they can jump forward with action and go and get a tank, but they actually do lose the Prism, and we lose one Immortal because of the Bravery, as we're trying to just make the most of exactly what I'm saying here. So that did not quite work out as well as herO's maybe wanting it to. It was such a good pushback initially. Really felt like he could get across the map and do more. The moment that Prism goes down, it's costly. And it maybe was just a little bit too well defended of a place for ByuN, for herO to realistically be attacking into. I do think in the end we can come back and say, yeah, that was a little greedy at the end of the day. Step back on +1, building up right now. So just going to get that straight on in. Probe coming through, Marine going to take some nibbles, just going to see the Observer going down as the Cyclone is able to make that grab. Again, the charge and the Phoenix coming up as well. Stim back in +1. Continue to build through for a few moments. The Phoenix and the charge continue to come online for a little bit. Just going to see the Stalker's going to be there, the Cyclone taking some damage. See that Cyclone going down already. The Gateway getting set into position. Stim, combat shield. Building up as well. Just going to see a couple more medevacs and the Marauders build through. And she gets around the back and just going to go straight in after the couple of probes. And drain some energy on the battery, so gives you a couple moments of fight right there. Gonna see the Phoenix coming through again as free lifts off. Fun to see herO playing the Phoenix. It's not something we see so much of in TVP lately, but yeah, actually going to be making use of them once again here. I wonder if it's something to kind of deal with some of the builds that the Terrans have been opening with lately, and this is maybe not strongest overall, but in the current meta maybe actually has a little bit of power to it. If the Phoenix can shut down some of those initial pushes and stuff, and some of the unit comms that the Terran players have been using, like the heavy Banshee play and so on, maybe then there's some value to this where you don't typically have value because of previously mentioned factors. So we'll see the Phoenix gathering. It's going to be seeing a couple of shots going down. The Marines are going to get there. Going to see the Phoenix coming through for a couple moments still, keeping that position. That Storm coming up as well. The +1 attack upgrade coming in. A few Zealots on the way. ByuN going to get here as well. Going to go straight after the Pylon. A couple of Ghosts coming through as well. So we got those Ghosts building, the Viking building. Couple units is going to get chased out of that. Let's see, here you can see the Robo Base, second facility. So a lot of preparation for the next step of the game, which is going to involve him switching up the splash damage, which he has access to, being able to add in Colossus, or maybe even Disruptors if you're feeling a little bit crazier. All of that just really is becoming much more accessible right now as Single Marine just spots up this base, so we see that that's there as well, which is good to know. See ByuN getting all the tech units out, right? And one interesting thing here as well is the upgrades favor ByuN for now. +1 attack at least about to finish from herO, but it's not been a big upgrade game. And even ByuN right now, he's skipping 2-2 because he wants to prioritize Ghosts and Vikings on this 3-base economy. Prioritizing those is kind of a choice over upgrades. And then eventually you can start the upgrades from there. He starts the Armory and Second Engineering Bay now, but I wouldn't even say that that's like a forgotten about, like, oh, they're late. I think that, you know, comes into play with the fact that he's playing against so many Vikings and Ghosts at the moment. Storm coming down, the army having to step away for just a second. And a couple of nice storms there, as herO supply, though, is going to struggle along, I think, a little bit right now, and not looking too great for the next couple of moments, even. +2 and Blink on the way up, the armor upgrade coming about as well. There's just a little bit more life here on herO's units, like I said, ByuN. Now that he's got the Armory and Engineering Bay, should be at the point where 2-2 is a little bit more affordable as well, so you would like to see that start being built and brought into play as well, for sure. Storm coming down, and the army. Let's see where it can set up. Ghost nearly dying, but gets saved by... Sorry, High Templar nearly dying, but gets saved by the Prism, which is going to get hunted. Can we actually find a way out for this Prism? I actually think that might be asking a little bit too much, and it does indeed go down. Just I think that one was a little bit too committed, to be quite honest with you. Vikings coming across. We do see the Stalkers taking a couple of EMPs. Fire stepping up there as well. The Colossus also coming through. Another Storm coming in toward the Bioforce. A couple of Vikings will set up once more. Pushing further through. The Storm still coming down. I mean, ByuN's supply has definitely dropped a little bit more than it did in the previous fights. Can we still make something of this here as he continues to try and stand in this? Eats another Storm. That Colossus still alive. Dishing out damage against a beaten up and bruised Terran army is going to be absolutely loving its life right there, so it's going to have a great time involved in this. Got the Storm coming down, a couple of those ByuNs right off the bat going to be taking a few more shots. 2-2 building into play. We're just going to have ourselves the Prism and the Observer coming online. I mean, you get the 2-2 upgrades finished here as ByuN, but now the supply is lacking a little bit. herO taking the 5 bases. ByuN is establishing on 4 bases, so the base count is fine for the moment. The Terran can afford to be behind a base. Needs to be able to take some of these fights, though, is kind of the problem that we're coming up to right now. Needs to be able to take some of these engagements. Needs to try and shut down the Colossus during some of this as well. If you don't get the Colossus shut down, they're just going to shell you the entire way through, and that's going to be absolutely miserable for you, so... yeah, there's definitely a lot that remains to be figured out right now as the army steps over. It's going to settle down to the bottom side. Colossus building. A couple Stargates coming about, the Zealots and the Gateways coming about. Just going to be seeing our Bio. Going to pull back in over there as well. Still got our 3-3 on the way then from ByuN. Loses a few SCVs. At this point, I think that maxed out is going to be just important for both. There's not really fights here you want to be taking when one guy's a bit behind on the supply, whether that's herO or ByuN. Does look like ByuN might max out first. And maybe he wants to try and force a fight from there, perhaps, but I think the general consensus is going to be this probably should just get stop and chill a little bit. We're going to be seeing the Bio getting there. A couple of the Zealots getting knocked away at. Nice catches. ByuN is limiting what herO is able to achieve on the map during this period, so he's not letting too much damage being done. He's being very active in that regard, so ByuN definitely able to take a little bit of a better opportunity for himself. Temp is on the way up too. I mean, herO really is heading into what you could call a bit of a dream army, really, towards the end of this. I mean, he's definitely getting into a very solid position. It's looking better and better for him. His army composition is absolutely up there. If what pretty much everything that he wants is the kind of the real takeaway. I think that's going to be the real problem, perhaps even for ByuN. You got to have enough Vikings to shoot down the Tempest, but then you got to be able to deal with everything else. You can't let those Vikings get stormed because they go down too quickly. This is not an easy fight to take. We actually are going to start fighting in. You can see the Vikings eating some storm damage already, and the impact that has is powerful. We are going to get on top of a lot of the units very quickly, though, and that's going to be very good for ByuN. If he knocks down a lot of the tech here, that is going to be a major win. Prism into the main base. If ByuN can shut this down effectively, which I think he may, then I actually like where this fight has gone for him overall. And ByuN takes himself into a pretty reasonable position in the later stages of a TVP right now. Vikings still coming across the top. And ByuN obviously still just trying to fight into the main base to go after these few units that are causing trouble. The dust settles, supplies come out fairly even. ByuN lost 13 SCVs, so he has a bit of army supply in his favor. The Prism in the main really was a little bit of a saving grace on what was not looking to be that pretty of a situation for herO off of the initial fight. The larger fights, he did get cleaned up quickly. It would have made a difference if the Prism was there to reinforce that fight rather than looking for the main base. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I just don't know if it would have made that much of a difference or that much of an impact. The probes step across over to the left side. Tempest building. My Templar coming through. The Zealots in production. Fire steps down. Pile on the gateway will take a good chunk of damage. A couple High Templars still making their way through as well. A little bit of bio will pick away the pylon. herO is threatening down the left side of the map, so something for us to keep an eye on here as the few Zealots are going to show straight up and push their way into position. Storm coming down just to, again, zone the Vikings out. And if you're zoning the Vikings out all the time, makes it very difficult for ByuN, and that may be the issue that we're kind of coming to right now. One more Storm. Actually going to be able to kill the High Templar, though, which is a nice little something. Mothership into the main base is, yeah, definitely an entertaining one. We're going to get the EMP down, so the High Templar will not do much of anything. Foundry Fortress bottom left goes down, though. As this gets chaotic, the Mothership is going to have to go run away, try and preserve itself here. Mothership actually going to do surprisingly well against these few units, but it will go down. So the Mothership falls. herO on a supply lead after a little bit of chaos is mixed into the equation now. What the heck just happened, and what the heck is going to keep on happening? As you are going to see a good EMP from ByuN that opens the door to fight this, right? And that's what it comes down to. If there's no storms to push you back, ByuN can absolutely chase. The problem is the moment that a storm comes down here, your chasing is done, and you get completely shut off from doing anything further, and that's what happens there in the end. We now got the High Templar and the Prism, both coming up into play. WardiTV's coming about, got a few Stalkers warped in, Shadow Stride, Riddick boosters on the way through as well. Four Vikings, a little bit of Marine Marauder coming about also. Just going to see a couple of those Zealots starting to drop off right there now as well. Just getting a little bit done on that. EMP coming down, some of the units still getting hit, Storm still dropping in, the ByuN army taking a little bit of damage here. We actually are going to close the distance on these Tempests. Can ByuN knock it all down and benefit from this is the question here. I mean, he should be able to get absolutely everything right, so it's looking like ByuN is going to be happy at the end of the day. herO supply going to be the one that drops off a little bit. A couple of desperate Storms coming in, just trying to find a couple of final connections. Tail end of this battle. Shots still coming through. Armies chasing the Viking Bioforce coming back together. We do have ourselves that Shadow Stride. Going to be done very shortly. The couple of Prisms on the way. So 2 Prisms at once from herO. Really wants to open the door to harassment. ByuN going to find the Zealot Archon army moving over there. The High Templar drops 1 Storm. But, yeah, outside of that 1 Storm, the units should be able to get here and make something happen. But it's too late. SCVs have already gone down in a big way. So, damage already done. Just going to get through. Going to see the DT showing up on the other side. Going to blink forward. Another strong unit that's going to be a problem for ByuN. Obviously fragile, though. If these DTs get scanned and there's an army there, they die instantly, but it's their mobility that gives them the chance to get in, do damage, and potentially to make it out again as well, so... MPs come down, some snipes even to get a couple of final blows, 1 or 2 DT get away, but for the most part, that's still seen as a success story here, I'd say, for ByuN. Again, pushing this back. I mean, at the same time, hero's probably not unhappy with what he did either, and it's also going to distract ByuN. Hero's got money to spend, by the way. So looking at that during this as well. Final gets up, this next to the front going down. I think it's important ByuN get some of these bases because, like I say, hero's got money to spend. If he wants to win this, he's going to have to stop his opponent from getting the rebuilds off. Those Vikings just give themselves up, chasing a Colossus into a battery and into the Stalkers. Not sure what the heck we were thinking was going to be beneficial of that. More Colossus in the production tab here. Marine Marauder Viking all coming up. Army moving over for a couple of moments. Couple of storms coming down again. ByuN cannot find the EMPs on those High Templar. They're being kept far enough away that not much is being able to come of this. Gonna push up that left side once again. ByuN muling the bottom left as he is desperate for some money. Needs anything he can get right now. Well, EMP coming in, Zealot Archon taking damage, a couple Colossus gather up. All those cannons going to get cleaned up as well, so just going to be seeing that this fight breaking into something a little bit more exciting here as the ByuN has to kite back. There's going to be Colossus on the right side that are super exposed, they're going to die. Being chased by Zealots and DTs, no scan. At least get rid of the DTs would have been amazing, right? They're expensive units. 100 supply each, dead on. Neither player with a huge bank. ByuN builds a few ghosts, gets that underway. More CV's coming about. A couple of DTs are going to come back in again. Set on the healing shrine is not a bad place for ByuN to be fighting. The storm will force him off of it. The Zealots, though, going down. As ByuN splits now, herO has the healing shrine, but ByuN's going to stim back into the healing shrine. He's going to get the Colossus. herO's army supply ain't there, man. herO's army supply just ain't there at the moment. Just going to see this couple High Templar gathering up. Excess Marauders, the rest of that all coming back around again. There's a little EMP coming down, the Stalker's getting hit. With the Storms, they keep on fighting, just gonna have to split back one more time. ByuN gonna break down this base, perhaps. Obviously gonna be a big deal if we get there, because, well, it's a Nexus that you grab, you love it. Simulators coming up, Zealots in production. Couple of snipes going to come on through. Just going to have ourselves the Zealots getting pushed back again. A little bit of a chase away there. Storm's coming down. EMP's chasing. The High Templars will fall. A couple of probes will drop. The Stalker's going to get there and go after the Orbital Command. Orbital Command going to come under fire. I mean, we're in a position where every base and every bit of mining is going to matter for a lot right now. ByuN kind of has to... I feel like ByuN has to kind of go with this army. He's got a 40 army supply lead. He's just scared of the 3 High Templars. It's the only thing you can really say right now, right? Outside of that, it should just be go time. Realistically. Go, 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 and don't stop and look back at all. Stalker stepped through, the Marines and the Ghost gathered together, another little scan coming about. 10 SCVs joining up. Hit Temper's getting chased away to the top. There's our Stalker gathering in. And just getting joined up here as we have a little bit more coming through. The Nexus going down. Gold base denied. But man, herO has just been mining that much more for so long. At this stage, ByuN doesn't have that many SCVs, only 12. And I just don't think he's been able to do what he needed to when it comes to actually making this army, have some value, basically. A couple more storms coming straight in. So going to chase on forward, charging on up, trying to get in position at the moment. Plays being made as our Zealots keep on pushing through. herO is not going to have much army supply left. A lot of ByuN's army supply is going to be in the form of medevacs, though. ByuN's going to do it. He's going to get rid of this army. And hero's going to have to go to rebuilding again. Let's see the couple of Zealots going down. The other couple of Zealots getting picked away at. Damage being done. The mules coming through. SCVs coming about as well. Keep going down. High Templar getting caught. A little feedback on the Ghost. Army just going to be chasing. You're going to see the High Templar getting picked away at. The few probes still dropping. The DT in the mineral line going to go after those SCVs. 16 probes going down. The few SCVs getting picked off. Stalker's still getting grabbed as well. The DT going to come over the side. EMP will drop. DT gets picked off. Stalker's dropping. ByuN is going to get GG's after 28 minutes of battle here on Torches. We're going to get a game 3 between ByuN and herO underway. As we're going to have in the top left-hand side, the blue Protoss player is going to be herO. While in the bottom bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player is going to be ByuN from the right side of the map to the left. Take a couple moments. Probe going to nibble at the SCV over in the corner as we get this game setting up. Primary building, barracks on the way. The SCV coming through. A little bit of a nibble on the probe and the SCV back and forth already. Put some work in right off the bat. Just going to be seeing the Nexus and that Cybercore both coming online. The factory coming up, the Reaper on the way. So no expansion yet from ByuN. Waiting on that part of this still here at the moment. Reaper just heads up top again. The Adept and the Warp Gate coming through. Reaper and the factory coming by. Go back down to the south. Just going to come clean up the probe, and then a second Reaper will hit. From that barracks, factory going to get the Hellion going as well. Stalker coming about, Corona boosting along, Starport coming about for the moment. Reapers and the Italian just going to come through. Just going to be seeing the shots going about. The Adept going to get that SCV. More SCVs gathering as we do have the Water Mine just burrowed up for a couple of seconds here. Adept going to try and get away with this for a moment or two. The Marines are going to step forward. Adept going to be right there. SCV coming about. Hellion coming over. Going to be seeing our Marines and the Reaper going to come down as well as the Adept will take a few shots of damage and then shades away back to the middle of the map. So you escape out of there for the moment, and the blink comes through. Hyperfly Road is going to be the opening once again. As what's up, Bingaz22. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime. Have a good cast. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the games. As we see, the Hyperfly Road is coming through. The Tech Lab coming up on the factory. Hallucination coming back over, the medevac still boosting around, a couple Stalkers and a Sentry going to be stepping about as well. It's going to be seeing the medevac still coming over the sides. And the Hyperfly Road is very much so on his way through, halfway done at the moment. Medevac will want to maybe think of getting into the main base, but not quite going to be able to get there just yet. Stalkers will be there. Reapers and the Hellion get chased away, so again, a little bit more of a pushback taking place for a moment or two. You got the couple of barracks and the engineering bay coming up as well. Factory swaps off, the engineering bay coming online. Going to see how well these Banshees do. Remember when we went Hyperfly Banshees earlier, we ended up with Phoenix? Well, that shouldn't be the case this time, so with no Phoenix to help, and honestly not a lot of tech in general to help, this could be a much more successful setup for ByuN. I guess we'll have Blink, obviously, but even Blink Stalkers can sometimes struggle to catch those speed Banshees, so that's part of what we can look at here. Stalkers will just chase down the couple of additional units for a second or two. Going about with all that for now as we just settle down. And let's see what is indeed next. As the Banshees are just going to patrol out the sides. It's a fun little pattern, isn't it? Having a good time, at least. As we see the play yet to be made with them. Hallucination to scout a little. Trying to figure out a bit of what's up. We've seen the bio getting there, hallucination going down once again. And just see the charge coming through. Gateway is still building on in, Stimpack Combat Shield and the +1 coming online as we speak. And yeah, that +1 attack upgrade still building up on the forges. See the Banshee's gonna go in, look after the probe. And +1 charge, both still building through. The Immortal coming about. Lots of shells on the way by as well. Just going to see the Marine Marauder continue to come in there. Armor upgrade, concussive shells, both building. The Banshees head toward the upper left-hand side. Stalkers will gather. Guardian Shield going to pop. A couple of Stalkers blink through. Gonna get a little bit of damage done. Again, Robo Bay, Robo Facility. But everything just continues in for now, so continue to bring this all by. So we actually get a good jump on these Stalkers. A couple of Stalkers in front right away. They're going down. The few Zealots that are trying to get through just do not have the numbers to do much. But if you're retreating here, you've got to be careful because then the Immortals might get caught. The stop and the turnaround here is going to be good at least, and that is going to protect this Protoss song for the moment. The hero is not going to get chased all the way out of here. Nexus on that top right side continues to build through. Again, ByuN will gather a couple Widow Mines, burrow up. Just going to see the Prism heading down the left side again. I mean, these Fierce Dog is going to get chased away, so at least ByuN keeping control of this, but how long can you continue to kind of keep herO back for? Because the Prism is going to come diving in, Zealots to the natural. hero's going to continue to test your multitask, and it's got to be spot on, especially against these Protoss units. The Zealots can stand up for themselves in a big way, so you've got to be able to split accurately and quickly here as ByuN, and try and really nullify this fight on all the different sides that herO is trying to take. Because if you don't do that, then herO is going to be bopping along and having a great old time. Banshee's coming in and going to find a couple of probes at least, but nothing really too substantial, all things considering. So that's going to be the end of the Banshees. Like I say, nothing really too crazy from them overall. As I'm going to extend the Milan's Colossus and the +2 attack upgrade building as we speak. I'm coming back over, and the rest of this army still heading into the center now. Stalkers begin to go down. And we just step forward for a little bit here, and we see a little bit of action breaking out with this Colossus force chasing in and getting on top of this army. Supply Depot going to be taking a whole chunk of damage as well. I think it's fair to say that this one is going to be a little bit of pressure on top of ByuN right here. He's got to figure this out in the next couple of moments, free himself from this problematic position he finds himself in. Can he do so? He jumps into the force. The Colossus are going to do a couple of EMPs to help out, but nothing is killing those Colossus, and that splash damage throughout this entire fight is going to be painful. You can see ByuN now having to retreat away, but the problem is that he had to fight there anyway, because obviously herO has access down to his third base if he does not, so retreating away can't last forever. He comes back in with a few reinforcements, but man, the Colossus just will not die. And that is going to be herO to take game number 3 of the series. After an epic game 2, herO does just come out a little bit better off over in this one. And that is going to be him taking this win. And like I say, moving through into the